What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, your favourite football fan channel made in Manchester. Bruno Fernandes to Bayern Munich, or even potentially to Barcelona. We're definitely going to get into that story, and I'm going to tell Ineos how stupid they are if they do make that decision, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably agree. Garnacho not going to the Olympics, according to United. They are standing firm on this, and they're saying, no, he's staying. I want to get into the details of that and how it could potentially affect the start of the Premier League campaign. We've just had news coming in probably about 15 minutes ago from the Times that United are set to be given the green light to go ahead and basically play in Europe. We discussed this the other day, the potential implications, how it could affect us financially, how it could affect us just in Europe in general. But apparently they're going to get a green light with that, which I was never worried about anyway, to be honest with you. I'm not even being sarcastic. Legit wasn't, because there's so many other clubs who are doing it. It was never an internal worry for myself. But again, we shall dive into it. And also some transfer news towards the end about Matheus Cunha. Now, I kind of skipped past that on the afternoon show today. I did speak about a tiny bit, but I want to give him a bit more than that, a bit more airtime, a bit more analysis, and dive into kind of what kind of player he is, his age profile, how much he'll probably cost, and how can he be effective at Manchester United as well. So that is the show planned for today. Please do smash a like on the video. Hello to everyone in the chat. I can see you all already. I will dive into that comment section. Do not worry. And also, same for the people in TikTok as well. Welcome to the show. Let's dive into the main headline, which is Bruno Fernandes, agent at least, in talks with Bayern Munich, which is worrying. We had Romano, of course, the other day, who put something on his Instagram. And again, I slightly glazed past this before, but I didn't realise how kind of deep the situation was with his agent speaking to clubs. Again, personal, but before I dive into the actual story in itself, it's probably just the agent putting pressure on the club to give him a new contract. We saw Bruno's interview after the final, even before the final, some of the stuff he says, he wants to stay here as long as he can, if the club wants him, if the situation's right, etc. So the ball's basically in United's court in that sense. So yeah, let me read out the article for you and then I'll get your opinions on it. So, Bayern Munich are in talks with Bruno Fernandes' agent Miguel Pino. Barcelona have also expressed a strong interest in Fernandes. Fernandes will now start preparing for the Euros with Portugal, while his agent could finalise a move away from Manchester United. And a source close to Bruno says Bayern and Barca have already made contact to find out the conditions for a transfer and may soon formally move forward. That's quite a worrying article. It's not nonsense as well. If Romano's putting it on his story, his agent is talking to clubs. It's as simple as that. Whether it's a contingency plan or, like I said, whether it's putting pressure, whatever it is, this would be a huge mistake for Manchester. A huge mistake for Manchester United. One, he's our best player. Facts. You could talk about Cobby coming through. You could talk about Lissandro, whatever it is. Bruno Fernandes is our best player. Straight up. He's the captain. So that's another kind of thing added on top of that. He's got 79 goals and 66 assists in 233 games for United. I don't think anyone understands how outrageous them stats are. People see them stats, and because they play FIFA, they're like, oh, that's not one every game or whatever it is. But like 140 odd contributions in 233 games in the Premier League. And let's face it, in the majority of the teams at United have been pretty shit. You look at where we finished this season. You look at how it ended under Ole and Ragnick and co. It's been a bumpy ride for him. So to maintain that consistency throughout that period is very impressive. He's also the only player to retain his value since joining the club. You think about how many stars have joined United and how the value has just completely plummeted or crashed or stayed the same at best. He's probably improved. You could sell him for more now, even though he's got older. That is the sign and how you know he is a good player. He creates the most chances in the league. You go year by year, since he joined, when he played his first games against Wolves, and I'm pretty sure he played it as an 8. I know you mentioned the versatility and the different holes he's filled for the squad and what he's playing at centre-back against Liverpool and all that kind of crazy stuff, right? What he's done in the league, creating the most chances, the stats, you can go through them all. Compare him to anyone, and he holds his own in that sense. He's missed about 5 games in total to injury. 5. I think that's just me. I've not even researched that, but I'm pretty sure the record that came out the other day because obviously he missed a game and he's injured, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, Bruno was injured. The injury curse must be real, right?" He's hardly missed any games whatsoever. He's been so consistent and so efficient and played through the pain barrier with a broken wrist, knackered ankle, sore Achilles, whatever it's been. He has played through thick and thin. Right, and I'm not finished on Bruno. I'm going to continue with this. Second most goals this season, 15 goals, and the most assists, 13 in the whole team. He's on the same wage as Antony and Maguire. So the current ones who earn more than him, Mason Mount, Rashford, Casemiro, are all on more than him weekly, in terms of like a weekly wage. This guy's the best player at the club, is the captain. So the fact he's asking for a new contract, yeah, no shit. No shit. Because he could earn that money elsewhere. Now, Bruno Fernandes, I don't know what you guys think, does not strike me as the type of guy to be just pushing for money or whatever it was. But you have to be realistic. The climate that we're in, is going into the latter stages of his career, 30 plus. You want consistency and a solid future going forward. So, yeah, he's asking for a new contract. Should it be a lengthy one, 5 years? I'm not too sure about that. Maybe a 3-year contract with an extra, give him 275k a week, let's say, for example, and then have bonuses and incentives for if you win trophies or you get a certain amount of assists this season, etc., etc., etc. But if Ineos, if you're watching, which I highly doubt, I doubt Dave Brailsford sat there with a cup of tea, a couple of bourbon biscuit, not bourbon, it doesn't strike me as a bourbon biscuit kind of guy, to be honest. I reckon David Brailsford would probably go, ironically, for the Nice biscuits or the nice biscuits. Let's get that clear and out of the water first. Let's not talk about any more football until we clear this. Everyone knows what I'm on about, the biscuits, yeah? Bit of sugar on them. Are they called Nice biscuits or nice biscuits? Someone help me out here, please. And whilst you're thinking of that really deep thought, you let me know which one it is, because I literally don't have a clue. I always call them Nice, and then sometimes, if it is Nice, it'd be really fun, because then you got OGC Nice and Nice biscuits, and then we can do something there. Right, comments. Charlie Malman says, so you blame United for Ten Hag maybe going to Bayern. Never thought this was actually something Bruno really wants. You should not hold a player in place if he does wish to leave. Evening everyone, says Richard. Julie Key says, for God's sake, don't sell Bruno. I'm with you on that, Julie. HMJ says, I don't like these Ineos guys. Well, let them cook first. It's not done, this isn't, no decision's been made yet. They're working on it, so we'll judge them after they make the decision. UTFR says, I'd sell him, get 80 million to 100 million plus wages gone. That is a big shout. That's a very big call, because that is a huge hole to fill. And Mason Mount's injured legs ain't going to fill that. He saw Kane on 450k at Bayern. and saw the bag. Tim99 says, hopefully just Bruno's agent just doing his job. Hope he stays. I think that's what it is, to be honest. Mold Shazwan says, why many clubs prevent their players to play Olympics? PSG refuse. Now Man United also refuse. I'm going to talk about Garnacho next. Just give me 5-10 minutes. I wouldn't sell Bruno. We couldn't replace him. He's always fit and available, says Dino. Superfly saying, it won't be the end of the world if he goes. I'm quite surprised, actually. Quite a few people are, 50-50 on this. Christos Jones, we need to bring João Neves from Benfica for Bruno replacement. From what I've seen of João Neves, though, he's not a 10, is he? He's more of a 6/8. Great tackler. He's not much of a 10. So we'd have to go and buy an attacking midfielder, just in my opinion. Nice, lol. Nice, not Nice. Are we sure about that? Absolutely. Nice, but spelt nice. Oh, God. So, Richard saying, we're getting down to biscuit talk. We should rename the channel Real Biscuit Talk. Richard saying, nice, not Nice. Superfly saying Nice, but spelt nice. Vincent Bullett's gone for a hybrid in between something. It's not nice biscuits. It's nice biscuit. I am so fucking confused right now. TikTok, help me out. You know the biscuits that you dip in your brew? Or some people like dipping the brew. Some people aren't dippers. That's absolutely fine. Help me out. Nice biscuits. I don't know what they call. What are they called? Nice or nice? Someone. French pronunciation, says Dano. Okay. Someone's saying Jammy Dodger. Oh, this is going off the hook now. Where's Jammy Dodgers coming to this? You're confusing the pile, mate. We're not just naming random biscuits. It's someone, right. Elbow was just put Nice. So is that nice? I'm not French, so I say how it's spelled. Someone just their own interpretations. Tommy Robbo is saying Nice named after the place in France. Thank you, Tommy Robbo. It's definitely named after the city. It's Nice. Stick to custard creams. I didn't realise so many people were biscuit experts. Interesting. If someone is kind to you, they're nice. It is nice. Biscoff biscuits are the best. Oh, my God. Someone find out. Well, we will circle back to this towards the end of the show. We will circle back to it. But if it is Nice, how ironic. I didn't even make the connection in my head. Dave Brailsford, Nice biscuits. I can't remember why I said biscuits now. Why did I say Nice biscuits? Was it because I was going on? I don't know. Wikipedia says Nice. Oh, I don't know. I'm so confused. But anyway, listen. Just the last thing on Bruno, right? Ineos, if you're listening and if you're watching, don't you fucking dare get rid of him. Don't you dare get rid of him. You've got plenty of other problems. Obviously, if Saudi Arabia come in with 200 million quid, then it's a different conversation, or 150 million quid. We can have a chat, because I believe it could be reinvested correctly under this current structure. But I'm telling you now, you've got bigger fish to fry. Than Bruno going. You need to sort out a whole lot of options. So get this contract situation sorted out. Don't go ridiculous on it. Meet in the middle somewhere, and then we can talk it. Daniel's saying risk it for a biscuit. Absolutely. Is that 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisp? I think it is, isn't it? Would you risk it for a biscuit? I'm pretty sure. What a show that was, by the way. Absolute classic. Right, someone mentioned Garnacho and Olympics, so I'm going to get into that story because I think it's a very interesting situation. So Alejandro Garnacho is not going to the Olympic Games due to Manchester United's refusal. They're refusing it. They're saying, no, not a chance. You're not going, Alejandro, and there is reasons for that. So Copa America action begins on the 20th of June. Obviously, Garnacho's going with them there. That runs until the 14th of July if they reach the final. Okay, so for example, and then pre-season starts. Argentina's under-23 side will then compete in the Olympics in Paris, which runs from the 25th of July to the 9th of August, which means Garnacho would probably miss the start of the season. Now, some people might be a bit patriotic in that sense, or we might even have some Argentinians in the chat who will say, he needs to play, he needs to go, it's for his country. Listen, I'm a United fan first and foremost, so if that means him not missing the start of the season, absolutely. I was even under the thing when the news got announced about Marcus Rashford not being picked for the squad. I weren't happy, but I was like, well, thank God he can get a rest. Put him in a cryo chamber for 2 months, let him relax, let him, mentally just drift away, and then come back. Same thing with, Manu has to go, right? He has to because of the season that he's had, and I believe it'd be amazing for him, the experience. But even if not, you'd be like, at least you're not rushing him and playing every single game. Do you know what I'm saying? So, when the United players are beaten, Fergie used to do it all the time. I remember Neville said this as well. The March International, Fergie would always pull players out all the time. I think Scholes, Beckham, even Nicky Butt maybe did it as well in that 99 season. So, yeah, it doesn't faze me whatsoever if United are pulling the plug on that and saying you're definitely not going. No problem whatsoever. And also, clubs aren't obliged to release players for the Olympics. It's not compulsory, do you know what I mean? They don't have to go. So, yeah, I think a fact to consider with these kids that we have in even, I think Ahmad's gone off with Ivory Coast at the minute. Rasmus is obviously going to the Euros with Denmark. Mainu's going to the Euros with England. Garnacho going to the Copa America. You need to be careful of playing these kids into the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them running to the ground, picking up injuries when they're 24, 25, just about to go into the prime. Manage them correctly, please. Yeah, that is what I would suggest on that one. UTFR says, people also ask, why are nice biscuits called nice? Originated 1860. Here we go. Get ready for it. This is the real news that people want, the breaking news about biscuits. Maybe we're onto something here. 1860, simply named because of their nice taste. This was apparently changed when Queen Victoria visited Nice in France and took these. Her favourite biscuits. Right, so there's a couple of little dimes in there. We've got, so they in 1860, they was named because of the nice taste. And then Queen Victoria visited France, probably had a brew, thought, oh, these are quite nice. We're in Nice. Let's call them Nice. Is that correct? I don't know. Bro, switch your content up. Season's over. I'll tell you what, C4, don't watch. Plenty of other people in the chat who are interacting and enjoying it. Don't like it, you know where the button is. Hi, I was wrong. Bruno, thank you for your query. Nice Biscuits were named after the city in the south of France and pronounced the same as that city. They have been. Well, we've come full circle here, people. We really, really have. Nice Biscuits, Nice, France. Honestly, it's like a subconscious thought that I didn't even... Yeah, well, you don't think of subconscious thoughts, do you? Vince Bullock says they want people gone from the club, cutting staff by asking them to take early redundancy. I hope they don't ask CAF. Listen to me right now, Vincent. That's a very serious discussion. If Ineos got rid of CAF, it would be the death of him. I'm telling you right now. No one removes that lady from that desk. No one. You do that, you're asking for absolute, pitchforks and fucking torches and everything. Leave CAF alone. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. John saying, I'd rather Garnacho miss a couple of games that gets refused, get pissed off and start looking at Madrid. David Harrington saying, Bruno watching United pay 300k a week to play for Dortmund and wants his share. Look, a lot of people forget, right? Absolutely, Richard. CAF is going nowhere. A lot of people forget it's a job for players as well. They're in the public eye. Millions and millions of people watching week in, week out. There's fans of a club. There's an attachment. There's an emotional connection there. I get it. I completely understand it. But it's also a job. If anyone in this chat now is in a job and they get offered an extra 150 grand a week, whether you play for United or not, you cannot tell me that is not going to turn your head. We are all human. Do you know what I'm saying? And a 5-year contract and extra security for you and your family. Do you know what I mean? So that side of things, I get it. If I'm Bruno, he's on a pretty good wage anyway at United. He's the captain. But United need to also meet him halfway and show the commitment. Just in my opinion, I think they need to. Right, I'm going to discuss the news that came out from the Times about 20 minutes ago now. So, breaking news, Manchester United and Manchester City are set to be given the go-ahead by UEFA to compete in the same European competitions as their sister clubs in the coming season. Fantastic news. We spoke, again, this has been like another kind of updating story. And a little bit worried, to be honest. I think the deadline's tomorrow, actually, when that... excuse me. I think the deadline's actually tomorrow when they need to be, and this was all going to be addressed. So we'll probably actually have the confirmed news tomorrow. But if this is coming out from the Times, it's a pretty good source. So yeah, fantastic news. Fuck the Conference League. No one wants to play in the Conference League. Chelsea themselves are not even in the Conference League. They've got to play qualifiers to get into it, and then they're playing. I don't even know. I could not tell you any names of the teams that are in that tournament. Genuinely. They're playing Kvaratskhelia FC at, 1:30 in the afternoon when, people are in work and stuff. Like, honestly, it's just United in that tournament, with all due respect, just horrible. Cannot do that. So, yeah, glad about that. Don't want to be watching the Conference League. Europa, slightly better. It's not the Champions League. But given the level that we're at the moment, I'd say it's probably fitting for us at the minute. If we went into the Champions League, we saw what happened this year. And although Onana tried his best to get him out single-handedly. I still believe competition-wise, we couldn't have competed. We were just way too open, and we was poor to play in Europe. So, Europa's probably our level going into next season, and then you can build on that. But at least we got European football. You're looking at the end of the season, 8th place and no trophy. That shows how quickly the dynamic can shift in football. You win a trophy, you're back in Europe, and everyone's happy again. It's mad, isn't it? It's that, and you're talking like thin margins there. I actually think the Europa League, now obviously under Ten Hag, he's won the Carabao, he's won the FA Cup. Why not win the Europa League next season? Well, not why not, it's obviously very difficult to do it. But why not win the Europa League, get yourself back into the Champions League, and then win the Premier League the season after? Sorted. That's the plan, right? That is the plan. loads of clubs have been doing this in Europe anyway, so I was never really worried about it. I always reference Salzburg and Leipzig, who are doing it, and have been doing it for years. City is obviously in a similar boat with Girona now in the Champions League, so they had to get past that. And you know that with their workings, they can sort anything out. And then there's been loads of other clubs as well who do it. PSG own like multiple clubs, so yeah, happy about that. Never ever wanted to watch us in the Conference League, so thank God for that. Shazwan saying, we get attraction from many clubs for Greenwood, but not for Sancho. Only Dortmund linked with him. Dortmund only can loan him. Can't afford loans off the table for me, for any players. Unless it's a youth player. If it's Dangor, maybe Pellistri again if we have to. Maybe Donny. I mean, we're going to have to loan Donny out because he has no value whatsoever at the minute. But I don't want to be loaning players. That is something we need to cut out of our negotiating tactics. I'll tell you what. You have our player... yeah, and then we'll pay half his wages. How about that? And the club's like, fantastic, yeah, let's do that. Like, what are you doing? Bruno is not pushing this. The only people pushing this is his agent and the press. Agreed. Hamza Patel says, do you think this Ten Hag situation will get sorted out this week? They should have sorted out at the FA Cup final. I can tell you with full-blown confidence that Ten Hag situation will be sorted by end of next week, latest. 100%. John saying that's because Greenwood levels above Sancho. Can Nice have 2 biscuits in the Europa League? Well, now you're going right down a rabbit hole there, Tim. There's so many answers to that. Vince is saying, I agree with you, mate, about Kath. I've known her for 13 years. Have you ever met her? I've not. But I imagine her hugs are like koala bears meets a cloud meets a cushion wrapped around you. That's what I can imagine it like. Lovely Kath. I heard Juventus refused to play in it last season. It's that bad. Yeah, Juventus refused to play in it. And I think Tottenham had a situation with him as well under Antonio Conte. Where I think it was during the pandemic actually. And he was just like, nah, we're not playing. Or they had to play a certain qualifier and they couldn't field enough players. Or I don't know what the actual situation is. Tottenham fans will know what I'm referring to. Would let Bruno go if we bring in a younger talent like Xavi Simons, says Baltface TV. Grip Reaper saying, is Bruno going to Bayern? His agent are in talks with Bayern Munich and Barcelona as we speak right now. Muldoon saying, sad for Garnacho missing the Olympics, but he needs a rest. 100%, mate. 100% agree with that. If we get 50 million for Arsenal for Rashford, we need to take it. No, that move is never happening. I don't care if it's fucking 100 million quid. I wouldn't sell Rashford to Arsenal. Not a chance. Not a chance. Could you imagine selling Marcus Rashford to Arsenal and then Arsenal winning the league with Rashford in the team? It's Van Persie in reverse, isn't it? It's Van Reverse, if we can do that. Richard, sorry, I skipped past a couple of comments there. There's loads of them. Please do smash a like on the video, by the way, if you can, and subscribe to the channel. We are on, people, 5,245. We're on the road to 10k, and we're trying to get there as soon as possible. That's been a dream ever since we started this channel, just to kind of go away from the stories for a minute, if people give a shit. Ever since we started this channel, 10k has been the target, the focus. And then whenever we discussed it, it was like, I don't think we'll ever get to fucking 10,000, because it's such a big... There'll be probably people in the chat now who maybe have YouTube channels or they know people who have 10k and they probably think, nah. But it's a big number. It's a big number to get to, and you know, in many senses, it's a bit of a vanity metric because subscribers don't really mean anything in terms of just pure numbers. They don't make you have more views or anything like that. But having 10,000 people who have genuinely subscribed because they think the content is good, that's where it matters. That's what it means. Just to look back and say, wow, 10,000 people like have watched our content and interacted and enjoyed it. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely. I'm going off on a tangent there. Sorry, I'll circle back. Let me go to the comment section. I think there's about 10 to 15 clubs that want Greenwood. He's got suitors. Yeah, Turkey, Italy, Saudi Arabia, Spain. Loads of clubs. Yes, because they cheated in the season before the last. Tottenham all had COVID. That was the one hit. Henry knows. When it comes to facts, Henry knows. Memphis Depay free again, watching come back to United. Nah. I think I speak for everyone when I say Memphis Depay return. No, I'm joking. Aaron will probably want it back on the channel. But no, not for me. Not for me. I think it's just one of them names that gets thrown about because he's a free agent now. It's like, oh, we could go and get him. And in reality, it's like, what does he want, 250 grand a week? Nah. Freddie saying, please, let's swap Bruno with Kimmich and get some cash from Bayern. Okay, Freddie. Drop him a like, says Superfly. Appreciate you, brother. David Harrington, been trying to get rid of the Deadwood for years. Imagine if we lose Bruno and Rashford before them. Crazy, innit? A very good point, that, David. Richard Hawkins. Nick, have you put Sam on gardening leave? No, Sam's, he's not doing a Dan Ashworth at the minute. I was going to say, I don't even think he's got a garden, but he's not in his flat anymore. He's in his house, so he has got a garden, technically. He's not on gardening leave, though. I think he's away with work at the minute. He's at the lakes, actually. Lucky man. Sending pictures of, like, kayaks and rivers and shit. So he's away, getting a breather, a mental breather, whilst I'm chilling with you lot. So, yeah, don't worry. I think Sam's back on tomorrow. So if you're having a bit of Sam blues, don't worry. He'll be back on, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Hamza's saying, would you be gutted if Mainoo's going to Euros and he has an extra week holiday? Players who went to Euros because they'll be tired unless we sign midfielders, which we need. I kind of mentioned and touched on this before. The situation with Mainoo is I absolutely want him to go because he deserves it. He's earned it. And I think the balance in that midfield with Rice, Mainoo and Bellingham, although people say you should put forward in that midfield, but I think that becomes unbalanced then, just in my opinion. I want him to go. I want him to have a good tournament. I want the world to recognise how much of a fucking talent he is. But at the same time, not in a jealous way, in a selfish way, I want him to, have a proper pre-season with United, start the season properly, and see him for a full season and see how he gets on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A big up to Oliver Thompson in the chat as well. Loads of new people tuning in, which is really, really nice. It's lovely to see everyone enjoying the show and interacting. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show. Likewise with TikTok as well. As you guys can see, the socials there in the top right corner. Sam's done a fantastic job on Instagram. It's popping off the consistent news stories, the reels on there, the actual stories on the thing. Yeah, go check that out. Amazing. Real Reds Talk, which I'm live on right now as well on TikTok for people who don't really like tuning into YouTube or whatever. I'm live on there as well. We're close to 30k on there, I believe. And then Twitter. The Twitter is the one that we're trying to get the most up because in terms of like interactive transfer news, spaces sometimes as well. We're doing it all. Maybe too much, to be honest, but I suppose that's the life of content creation. Wolves saying you're not having Cutie Cunha. I imagine you would want to keep him, and you just give me the perfect segue. Should we talk about Matheus Cunha? And then again, Wolves, if you're the Wolves fan, if you're still in the chat, you can assess my analysis of Cunha and let me know if I'm correct or not. But again, this is just from what I've seen of him. So we're going to do a bit of a deep dive on Cunha. I say deep dive, a mid-dive, because I felt like I kind of brushed over it this afternoon. I didn't really talk about him that much. It was like, yeah, we're linked with Cunha and we're linked with, who was the other dude? Kudus. Mohamed Kudus. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But I went past that. I was like, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But it is a forward who I do like. I've watched him for Wolves multiple times. From what I've seen, versatile forward, proven both through the centre and can play on the left-hand side as well. He did that for Atletico Madrid, and he's done it for Wolves. Effective against central defenders. He really loves a battle physically. He's got a bit of pace about him. His timing and movement is really, really good, especially between the lines. I like him. He's 25 years old, very good age profile, physically imposing, something slightly different to Rasmus Højlund, which we need, I think the reason why people were like Sesko, not entirely sure, was because he's a similar profile in it to Højlund. But this guy is different. He's slightly different. 14 goals and 8 assists in all competitions is not a bad return whatsoever. And I say all competitions, I mean, Wolves probably played a couple games in the Carabao and then 1 or 2 in the FA Cup. So, yeah, because he got knocked out by Coventry, didn't they? So he would have played 3 or 4 games in that competition. And I'm not sure about the Carabao when they got knocked out. I think it was, 1 or 2 games and then they went. So 14 goals and 8 assists is impressive in that Wolves team who, under Gary O'Neill, I mean, they got robbed this season. I know this isn't real Wolves talk, which would never work as a title for a channel. But I think they got done dirty, 1, by VAR and all the decisions. And 2, I really like Gary O'Neill as a coach. I think he's top, man. I do. I really, really think he's top and super underrated. I think Bournemouth getting rid of him. They've got Iraola now, who's arguably was like breakthrough coach of the season. So in that sense, he probably didn't make the right decision. But I did think it was a little bit disrespectful to Gary O'Neill. I think he's good. I think he's really, really good. He's been super unlucky this season. Honestly, if you go back and look at some of the decisions that's gone against them, it's fucking horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Wolves saying spot on. Oh, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I wouldn't want Cunha to go for less than 60 million, to be honest. Well, you guys paid like, what, 45 mil for him or something, was it? So I understand that. I won't even moan. That's why I'm like, the price is the only thing I look at, and I'm like, not sure about that. Right, let's get into the comments on YouTube. Grace is saying, we will get De Zerbi. He'll have to work with a squad that we have with a couple of overhyped, overpriced Brexit FC players because Ineos want to save money. Richard saying, I think Cobby not only deserves the Euros, he will crush it. Absolutely. If you don't think he's on like a global stage now with all the eyeballs that are on United, wait until the Euros as well when he's putting in flawless performances. Because his temperament, this kid, he don't get nervous in any situation. People forget, the first 2 weeks with Cobby, right, he played at Goodison Park. I always reference this as well, so I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but it's true. He played at Goodison Park after Everton had the points deductions, and that atmosphere was just toxic as fuck until Garnacho scored an overhead kick. He played at Galatasaray away. I don't need to expand on that point any further. Everyone knows what Galatasaray away is like. It's an absolute full of nut jobs in that stadium, with all due respect. And then Anfield as well. And he was just placid and cool as a cucumber throughout the full process. And you do not find that kind of temperament in young kids. It is a very, very rare trait that you get. And all the people who's in majority TikTok, not on the live right now, but when we put the clip up saying, you know, what we believe Cobby can turn into, what kind of player he is. And I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid, but he's handled everything that's been thrown at him. Everything. Look at how he played in an FA Cup final against your Manchester rivals when you're from the city at the age of 19 to score the winning goal. It does not get much better than that. It really, really doesn't. I think it's going to be mega. I do. He's probably my favourite player, especially from this season. I love Lissandro. I love loads of other players, but Cobby is just like, he is a blend of everything you want. England don't I'm going off on a Cobby rant here. England don't typically breed these kind of players. I'm saying breed like it's some fucking puppy farm, but they don't. They don't like Cobby's just. He's different gravy, mate. I'm telling you, different gravy. Callum saying opinions on having Amrabat on a permanent, mate, for 13 million quid. 100%, 100%. If that is the price that's being speculated, why not gamble on it? We spent far worse money on far worse players. Even if he is squad depth, for me, it won't be the worst thing in the world. So I would absolutely consider that Amrabat. Right. What was I can't remember what I was going to get into. Sorry, I was reading out the comments when Charlie Malman saying a Leeds fan actually thinks that United have put in bids for two of their players, Archie and someone else. He's very angry that we're supposed to have put in a low bid. This was news to me. Listen, we're not interested in any Leeds players. Unless it's Eric Cantona reincarnated. Pravav in the chat. Hello, Pravav. I hope you're good, mate. Saying, hey, folks. I hope you're well. Thoughts on Mourinho to Fenerbahce. I really wanted Jose to come back to the Prem. I don't know if it's just me. I wanted Jose back in the Premier League, man. His press conferences, that kind of je ne sais quoi, he's box office in it. He's absolutely box office. So just for that pure reason, I wanted him to come back. I actually thought maybe Newcastle may push for him. But obviously they're sticking with Eddie Howe. Maybe a couple of other teams. I mean, I'm trying to think what teams are going without managers at the minute. Obviously Brighton, but I can't see Mourinho at Brighton, to be honest with you. I think they're almost polar opposites in that sense. So yeah, I want him back in the Prem, but it is what it is. Charlie Mom saying 2K is going to make the next FIFA game. Oh boy, it's not going to be a good game. 2K, such a bad track record. I like EAFC, man. I've been a fan of it this season. I think they've over milked it with the promos and packs and stuff like that, but yeah, I actually got team of the season Valverde before 700k, which was nice. Yeah, Mourinho should go to Brighton. Archie Gray would be. I like Archie Gray. He's a good player, but I just think of Leeds and like, I'm just like, yeah, it gives me a bit of no, thank you, I'm all right. Hi mate, how true do you think this news is about Bruno leaving? I've kind of scraped on it already, but I think it's more of his agent trying to put pressure on United to offer him a new contract. And that's the situation that we're seeing here. Because when stuff gets put out in the public and social media like that, you know, the fans, you start seeing stuff trending, like, are they mad? Why are they getting rid of Bruno? And then pressure builds, and then it gets put out into like the mainstream media. TalkSport are talking about it. Sky Sports are talking about it. And then United are like, oh, we really need to make a decision on this. And agents know this. They put feelers out there and they put certain things out. Even sometimes about the players' consent. I've seen that situation a lot of time. I'm not saying this is... They probably said to Bruno, do you want a new contract? Okay, leave it to me. Let's see what we can do without being too disruptive. So, Ineos, I'm telling you now, Ineos' list is longer than, you know, a Christmas shopping list. The stuff they've got to do this summer. They've got the Greenwood situation to sort out. They've got Jadon Sancho and Ten Hag, who are still, you know, bumping heads in that scenario. They've got an actual manager decision to make, whether he should stay or go. They've got who's going to be sold. The situation with Marcus Rashford, for example, what, you know, them kind of players need to keep them. Anthony, just the whole recruitment process in general, they've got to sort out. And then you've got to look at all the stuff around Old Trafford that they're getting into, the logistics of that, Wharfside and Salford Quays and all around the area, the stadium in itself. There's probably things that I'm forgetting. Like, they have got a giant list of stuff to work through. Good luck to him, because I do not envy them in that situation. It's mad. Wan-Bissaka back to Palace. Absolutely. If he could be a make weight in the Elise deal, yeah, 100%. Give him Wan-Bissaka and 40 mil for Elise or something. I'd take that. To be honest, I never really got the Elise deal because I just think I love him as a player. Absolutely, I would take him at United. But the priorities that we need to do it by, I don't get where that comes in as a priority. That wouldn't even be my third priority. It'd be centre-backs, centre midfielder, central defensive midfielder, striker, and then maybe a creative winger. But then even you got your left-back situation that you need to sort out, and then a couple others. So, yeah, never really got that, to be honest with you. Bit confusing to me. I hoped Conte would be back in the Prem for the very same reason. Conte versus Tuchel, the handshake that give them both the red card. Yeah, just to see some personalities back. We have had just some news around Sancho come out. Jadon Sancho's ready to go back to Manchester United, but only if Erik Ten Hag leaves in the summer. They ain't got a choice. He's got to go back anyway because Dortmund can't afford his wages. So, sorry, Jadon, you're going to have to go back, mate. Dortmund would like to sign Jadon Sancho permanently, but cannot afford United's asking price in excess of 50 million. Sancho is also reluctant to give up on his United career and still has an ambition to make it work at Old Trafford. I can't see it working under Ten Hag, can you? Daniel Hutchinson saying, thing is, Jose, what's said about Ten Hag on Sancho did make me laugh. Yeah, because of how many players Jose fell out with. To be fair, I think Jose did say that. He was like, I learned from my own mistakes dealing with certain players. Obviously, the thing with Dele Alli was very public, wasn't it? So I don't know if he was kind of referencing that or, you know, certain individuals. Irfane Kadali says, Bruno, 50 million. Here we go. John saying 1 centre-back, 2 left-back, 3 striker, 4 midfielder, then maybe wide. Exactly. It's not a priority, is it, John? It's not a priority for me. But Branthwaite and Elise seem to be the deals that are going to be done at the start of the transfer window. They're the ones I would keep an eye on when it opens. And there'll be players that we don't even hear of as well. You hear about United setting up like a scouting network in South America. And they're also looking at certain players. Like, you don't always have to go out and buy the big stars. You can go buy ones for 15 million quid, 20 million quid. Julian Alvarez was 17 million pound. I'd take Julian Alvarez all day. So you don't always have to spend shitloads of money. You just have to do your due diligence and scout effectively and properly. And that's what I want to see from Manchester United. Right. Nice biscuits. We've come full circle for anyone who was here at the start of the show. We're going to go with Nice. I think that's the answer to it. Dave Brailsford dips his Nice biscuits in his brew. If you know, you know. Okay? We shall leave it. Oh, Lems is sending roses. Thank you very much. I think it's the first time I've ever actually received a rose, though it be a virtual one. But I'll take it. Absolutely. If I could ask one favour of you guys just before I head off, we're on 5,249 subs, so we're one sub of 5,250. That would be amazing to end the weekend. Just finishing on that. If you could also smash a like on the video, that would be fantastic. And yeah, I'd say have a nice rest of your weekend, but what have you got left? 4 hours or something like that. So whatever it is you're doing, whether you're getting a bath, you're going for your dinner, you're going on a run, you know, I don't know what you do in your spare time, whatever it is. I hope you all enjoy it. AG Lerez is saying, love the content, mate. Thank you very much. Come and check us out on YouTube. We're live every single day, twice a day. We have members videos, which, again, keep an eye out for that, people, members in the chat. There's one dropping on, which I've already said before, but there's one dropping on Man City's charges, 115 charges, and all the detail with that. Big up yourselves, every single one of you. This community is growing every day. My voice is going because I'm getting excited, but the community is growing every day. The socials going up, and that is because of you guys and you guys only. So absolute legends, every single one of you. Can't thank you enough, and I'll see you guys in the next